Lawmakers are reacting to a 7 on Your Side investigation into the state insurance commissioners' taxpayer-funded travel across the world. Leadership on the Assembly Insurance Committee is now vowing to take action. 7 on Your Side's Stephanie Sierra first reported this last month on Commissioner Ricardo Lara's eyebrow-raising travel. Here's part of her latest report.
From flights to Paris and Bogota to Glasgow and Dubai, in response to a 7 on Your Side investigation into State Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara's taxpayer-funded travel abroad, the vice chair of the Assembly Insurance Committee is taking legislative action demanding more transparency from the state.
If the Insurance Commissioner's Office isn't able to provide answers as to the government purpose of this travel, I think it's absolutely appropriate for us to be able to move forward requesting an audit so we can get answers for the taxpayers. Again, this is about transparency. It's about good government. It's something that Californians absolutely deserve.
7 on Your Side reported California's insurance boss made at least 46 trips across the country and all over the world since 2019, missing a majority of the state insurance hearings held since assuming office.
Now, our media partner, the San Francisco Standard, is also following the story. They have a new article out. Insurance chief lives large on campaign cash as homes burn. Joining us live now, the Standard senior political reporter, Josh Kane. Josh, nice to see you.
Hey, Kristen, great to be with you.
Hey, so I'm sure you also saw our Stephanie Sierra reported on government-funded international travels with questionable work-related purposes. But you found some stunning receipts here at home with Lara. Tell us what they are and how much we're talking about.
Yeah, I want to first give credit to Stephanie. It was great reporting, and actually is the reason I started looking into this. Basically, Ricardo Lara, after being reelected in 2022 as insurance commissioner, he created a new committee to run for lieutenant governor. When I first saw that, I was like, wow, I didn't even know Ricardo was running for lieutenant governor. And it turns out the reason is he's not. It's basically a shell committee that he has channeled about $227,000 in leftover cash from his insurance commissioner campaign, and then continued to raise money for what appears to be the sole purpose of lifestyle purchases, going to fancy restaurants and bars all over the country. You mentioned Dubai, a trip that he took. There was a campaign meeting he had in Dubai. It's about $30,000 in charges for these restaurants and bar tabs, and a third of them are called campaign meetings. And so the question is, how are you having campaign meetings when you're not really running a campaign?
That's a really good question, but makes me kind of want to run for something. Does the law?
Careful.
Okay, I'm just kidding, obviously, but you point to something very important, right? This kind of a shell campaign, which allows you to then raise funds. But what are the laws with regard to how you can spend that money? I mean, you are allowed, if you're really running, to have like a campaign strategizing dinner at a fancy place, right?
Yeah, the laws are actually quite loose. When you have a campaign committee, you can actually spend it on governmental expenses. You can take your staff out to meals and like treat them a little bit nicely. And then you can have meetings for political purposes. However, the state laws require that any meeting or meal over $200 has to be directly related to one of those three things I just said: government, legislative, or political. So the question is, what are these political meetings, these campaign meetings he's having? Are they actually like something for a future run, or are they actually just celebrations? Because when you look at the receipts I have, they're very celebratory. We're talking martinis,
steaks. I want to hear about it because we're all a little envious of the lifestyles of the rich and famous. So what are some of the things purchased and consumed?
Oh my gosh. I mean, some of the receipts are as long as my arm. I mean, like it's really crazy. He had an 8-person campaign strategy meeting that started off with a Tito's cocktail, then a Paloma, then multiple glasses of wine, then a bottle of wine, then like 5 martinis, and then it's steak, bucatini, cream spinach, whatever kind of king salmon entree you want. I mean, it's literally enough to feed a family of 16.
Ooh,
so
New York steak, Pinot Noir, sea urchin,
I know.
Good stuff.
It is enough to want to run for office, almost, if you're willing to bend or potentially break the rules.
Okay, so my question is, obviously this is happening at a time when we are having some serious insurance issues in the state of California, right? People are getting their insurance canceled or getting their rates jacked up really high. In fact, there was supposed to be a meeting this week that Lara was going to be at to hear State Farm's appeal to try to jack up their rates by 22%, but somehow he didn't show up. I don't know if there was like a, dinner somewhere. But yeah, talk about the timing.
Yeah, the timing of this is just awful. I mean, people have had their auto and home insurance policies canceled. You can't even get policies sometimes, depending on where you live. We're in a real crisis. And if the insurance industry craters under Ricardo Lara's watch, then the housing market at large is under huge risk. And one of the meals that he had that we talk about in the story is a $700 dinner at San Laurel, this very fancy Spanish restaurant in downtown Los Angeles. And at that dinner, it was called a campaign meeting. Ricardo Lara was meeting with the CEO of Farmers Insurance Group, a guy named Raul Vargas. Now, I don't know what that meeting would entail because Ricardo Lara has promised to not take campaign money from the insurance industry. But just 2 months after that dinner, an affiliate of Farmers Insurance canceled 100,000 auto policies for Californians. So we have to understand, like, he's not only cozy with this insurance industry, but it doesn't really seem to be actually getting consumers and ratepayers true benefits even.
Okay, I just want to bring up, we got a statement from Lara, and I think we have that produced, so we can go ahead and show that if we've got that up, because we did want to give him a chance to respond. And the office, his spokesperson, said he is laser focused on his job serving Californians as we face unprecedented times and bringing solutions to the insurance crisis. So they didn't address your article or Stephanie's reporting in terms of doing his job. Like I pointed out, there was that meeting with the State Farm proposal that he didn't show up to. But I want to ask you, is this just, okay, so two things. Related to him, what's happening in terms of investigation, right? Any action? And then also, is it a him problem or is this a much bigger problem?
Yeah, I mean, this is a pervasive problem. Our campaign finance system is completely broken in California and really across the country, but like especially in California, which is where we cover most of our stories. This is, you could say it's a loophole, but Ricardo Lara's actions actually do seem to be flagrant. It's funny that you got a statement from Ricardo Lara's office because I couldn't get anything. They wouldn't even actually confirm he's running for lieutenant governor. So that kind of clamming up, I don't know what this laser focus is. It seems like it's just a direct line to his next dinner. I think Ricardo Lara actually is someone who needs to be investigated. I'd also say that the body required to do that, the Fair Political Practices Commission, hasn't responded to me either. I tried to get their communications director on the phone today just to say, hey, by the way, I have other information you guys might want to look at. The Fair Political Practices Commission is MIA right now. So like the watchdog of the state should wake up. And like this is something that really needs to be thoroughly vetted.
And that role is so important right now. So let me ask you, is there any action that can be taken should this prove to be something that he can't really explain away, right? I mean, we are pretty recall happy, at least here in the Bay Area. I don't know what the process is for a state official.
Yeah, recalls are very arduous. They're expensive to gather the signatures. He only has a little over a year and a half left in office. So, the potential of a recall, it's not to say that he's necessarily done a good job, but like I would say that that's probably unlikely. But when we're trusting people with taxpayer money and they're going on trips to Bogota and Paris and elsewhere, when they're collecting campaign cash for what appears to be non-existent campaigns, and then having special dinners with the CEOs of the companies they're supposed to regulate, then that warrants a serious investigation because it verges on not just like negligence and an abdication of duties, but potential criminality.
All right, Josh Kane, thank you so much.